welcome back to Connect Through Beauty. Today we're diving in and we're talking about culture in the salons. So Michael Cole, he brought this topic up to me and it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is definitely what's going on. And it's really difficult to kind of find the sweet spot with this. So we have two cultures in our salons. You know, we have the older generation, seasoned stylists, and we have the younger, and they're coming in and they have all of this knowledge and amazing insight on their lives. And I think it's time that we really be humble and we shift a little bit. And I love this conversation. You guys are going to love it too. You're going to find so much value in this. Whether you're a stylist, esthetician, or you're a manager, owner, everyone is going to get a piece of this. So listen in and keep staying connected.
Yes, yeah. No, it's one of the one of the most important, essential, relevant conversations going on today in the salon industry, because it's having a profound effect on commissioned salons, especially commissioned salons that have been in business for many, many years. Mm-hmm. We have now, for the first time that I can recall, while you've always had, if you like in L&L, it's very, very typical, traditional to have double-digit size teams, 15, 20, 25, 30 or more people in a salon, in a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square foot box.
Right.
And there was always, you had your age range, but up until the last several years, everybody had, the one thing everybody had in common that kind of made it work was everybody had been using the same way of building their business. Now we'll call that traditional. Now I'm calling it pre-digital, pre-social media, pre-mobile device. And so whether you got in the business in, 1980, 85, 90, or you were in the business 2000, 2005, even 2010, you were pretty much doing business in 2000, 2005, kind of sort of how you were building a clientele in 1990.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That is not true anymore.
Right.
So now it's just not about the age differences. We have genre difference that you hear this all the time. The baby boomers are, you're from this, late 50 something gone up, and then you've got your Gen Xers that are, I don't know, mid 40 somethings to well into 50 somethings, and now millennials start at around, late 20 somethings, and they go into, front into 40 somethings, and then you have this new genre called Generation Z or Zennial, and you go into an L&L, or I'm going to call it the L&Ls of the world.
Yeah, okay.
I'm seeing now two salons in the same salon, or you could call it two cultures in the same salons. You have your baby boomer Gen X, which basically grew up on a traditional, here's how we build our clientele.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And even to a large extent, middle-aged or older millennials that built their clientele very similar to traditional, on the traditional model, like Gen X and baby boomer. You hand out cards.
Yep.
You hand out cards and, please tell your friends and, let's upsell and boy, rebook this. And it worked, and it's still working. Some might say, well, yeah, but not as well. We'll get to that in a second. And then you have we'll call it, I think the youngest people that show up in the salon now are what, 18ish, 19ish,
Yeah.
and and now I just heard, I think it was yesterday I was on a podcast, Zennials, Generation Z now end at 26,
Wow.
and they go all the way to 10 or 11, but from 10 to 19, they don't implicate the salon, so we don't really think about that herd, but that's coming.
Right.
And that genre, we have to bear in mind that genre, where, it starts in probably late 90s when they were born.
Right.
And, they got mobile devices when they were very little. And all of us didn't. We were, never mind social media and all the stuff that comes with it. Michael, what's your point? The culture clash is Gen Xers, 40 somethings, even late 30 somethings that started with nothing. Everything was manual. We had to do this.
Yeah.
If you want to work here, you have to do this, and whatever this is, hand out cards, go out and network market, and et cetera, et cetera. And because we had to do it, damn it.
Yep.
So do you.
Yeah.
And I'm just here to tell anybody that's willing to listen, that's not a good position anymore, because your typical 20, 21-year-old, especially now that's becoming a community, is basically saying, you know what? It's not our fault.
Right.
That you were born and came into the business at a time when there was no digital. And you had to do all these things. That I hear it, I understand, my heart goes out to you. However, that's not our fault.
Yep.
We came in at a time that was profoundly different than your time. You were taking trees down with a hammer back then. No,
I love when you say that.
Now today it's a hammer, but in its time it wasn't a hammer. It was an axe. It was a sharp axe. And some people would say, no, boy, I had a Toro chainsaw. But with digital, when somebody can go on Instagram, put something on Instagram, whether it's a Reels or a carousel, and 5, 10 referrals show up.
Right.
I would say that that's not an axe. That's not a Toro chainsaw. That's a Star Wars laser beam. And they're saying, I am not going to hand out cards. And if you make me, I will quit. And now that Z's are a community, when they were kind of coming out by themselves, you could say, well, they didn't know any better and blah, 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 blah. But now Generation Z hairdressers have become a community, and they're talking.
Yeah.
And this is where the phrase, I don't know if you've heard this meme called, okay, boomer.
No.
That's now a meme by a 21, 22-year-old Zennial. They're saying, okay, when the baby boomer or a Gen X hairdresser that says, we had to do this, who do you think you are that you're going to come in here and you're going to do all that? And basically they're rolling their eyes and saying, okay, boomer, okay, Xer, I'm out of here. I don't really care. I don't really care what you had to do. Because I remember being when I, the 70-year-old old guy, was in my 20s, I was rolling my eyeballs to my parents and grandparents. When we were your age, we had to, and it was like, well, I smiled and nodded my head and, whatever, but who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares what you had to do? And because you had to do it, you're telling me I have to do it? I'm out of here. This isn't, I'm a reporter at large, guys. I just go over to the Generation Z community
Yeah.
daily, and I'm just listening to their conversation. This is what they're saying about you. And and oh, by the way, they're also saying you're mean. You're mean, and you're mean, and you're arrogant, and you talk down to us because you've been in business this long and you had to do it this way. And it's like, you know what? We are so over you. Have a little bit of empathy and compassion that I would have to say, you know, they have a point.
Right.
I don't have
agree.
to,
Yeah,
I don't have to like that point, but I
Right.
really need to be open to acknowledge it and accept it. And as a salon owner or leader, to go, okay, how do I work with it? And I think you can. I think it, because I see, I'm going to call it enlightened salon owners doing it. It's almost like it's a combination. I need to coach my Gen X, even older millennial, certainly baby boomer hairdressers who I love, 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 because they've been with us for so long. They're so loyal. They're hard workers. They've earned the right. I don't want to do anything that would scare them away, but I want to coach them about that. You know, we have another grouping of people joining us, and they're growing differently than we grow, and we have to, if we're going to be in business, we at least need to acknowledge that and to some degree honor it. And kind of look at the way we were doing some, not everything, but some things that are, they're just not serving them anymore. They still serve us, they work, but to not be judgmental and mean and bossy.
Yeah. It's so true. It's definitely something that is a topic that comes up quite often. And I feel like, just how do you balance it? How do you even start to balance it and shift the way of thinking?
Well, I'm going to, and again, you're getting my take, and my take is not the 11th commandment. It's just, here are some things that ideas that I think are worthy of exploring. One of the things that I've been curious about as I coach Gen Xers, 40 somethings, 50 somethings, even later 30 somethings, is you first of all, you're busy. You're very, some of these people are, and they built their business, and I should call it busy business, on a traditional way, and it's been built and it's humming. My book is full and I'm making a lot of money, and it really, at face value, it's working.
Right.
I would say to them, have you noticed yet any clients that you've been doing for a while coming in with what looks like a new conversation or something new that they're curious about?
Yep.
So my client that I've been doing forever, all of a sudden their mobiles are out more, and they're doing things while I'm serving them with their mobile. Are any of them not only on their mobiles, but they're on platforms that like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. And are they looking at or talking about hair pictures?
Yeah.
Are they, and it's like, whoa, what, first of all, what are you doing with that? You're old, right? And I would suggest that, no, this is not necessarily tied to age, although generally speaking, it looks like it. I'm 70 years old, and my mobile is out all the time, and I'm on Instagram a lot, and I'm, looking at pictures, and you might say, yeah, but you're an exception to the rule. And I'm saying, you're right, I am an exception. However, as time passes, I'm becoming less of an exception, and there are more of my genre that are joining me. They went from being boomer Gen X, and now there's an actual word called Generation C, as in connected. And it does not, it's not tied to an arbitrary age grouping. It's basically, no matter how old you are,
Right.
How connected are you
Right.
to digital? And it really isn't just digital, but mobile digital. And to
Mhm.
what degree are you on platforms that affect my business as a hairdresser? To the
Right.
degree that you might be a baby boomer, but really you're part of a growing community called Generation C,
I like
Gen
that.
C. And your client, if you're a
Mhm.
boomer or an Xer, your client,
Mhm.
while they may be part of a boomer genre, they may also now be part of another community called they're connected,
Right.
they're more digitally savvy than their
Yep.
genre.
Mhm.
They're curious. And here you are now. You both have same things, two things in common. We're both well into our 50s, but you're on this, I'm not on this, and you're asking me questions about this
Right.
that have to do with my business, and it can be awkward.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if you're on somebody else's page that's a hairdresser looking at their work,
Right.
asking me questions about, do you think that that would look good on me?
Mhm.
Now, whether they're on a Pinterest with, randomly placed pictures that are, filtered, I mean, who cares?
Right.
Or
Exactly.
another page, you're seeing that difference. A year, 2, 3 years
Yeah.
ago, we were both kind of talking about today what we always talk about. Now,
Yeah.
so that would be a first indication that, hey, fellow 50-year-old hairdresser, 40-year-old, say, you don't look now, but it looks like things are kind of moving around for you.
Yeah.
Number two, have you noticed that there are younger stylists, very young stylists, as in they're young enough to be your children? You see them coming in, and if you didn't know any better, you see them growing a clientele and getting to places in clientele or money or whatever that seems to be a lot faster
Yeah.
than it took you.
Yep.
Right? Or are you so busy being absorbed in your own world that you haven't noticed it? But if you do, you go, and then now it's kind of like envy. It's like, well, who do you think you are?
I know. Yeah.
Right? And so these are all changes that I'm making you aware of. This is happening now.
Yeah.
The world is shifting and changing, and with each passing day, week, month, year, you're going to see more of that coming your way. And meanwhile, you're in a pickle.
Right.
You're in a dilemma because you're only 50 or 45 or 40 or
Mhm.
35, and it's not like you're going to be retiring
Right.
anytime soon. And it's so, okay, what do I do? Do I get out of the business? Well, that's not an option
Mhm.
because I'm
Right.
vested in this,
You're
and
invested.
yet my
Yeah.
world is changing,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, okay, so you feel that tension? Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Well, one of the ideas you might consider is beginning to rethink, reinvent, reimagine how you've done things to how you can begin doing the same things in new ways. And it's not either or. Yeah, I'm not asking you to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but to begin getting curious about,
Yeah.
I want to, I'm open to this conversation where before I was making fun of it.
Right. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's true. And there's so much to be learned. So much. And so much more growth.
Oh,
And you can end your career. I mean, imagine that, right? Like ending your career on the highest level you've ever been on.
yeah. Or you could even say a higher level than the level you'll be in if you stay where you're at this time. I think if you're a traditionalist and proud of it, and I'll be damned if I'm saying, great, I'm going to love you regardless of how you play this,
Yeah,
but I'm going to suggest
right.
that over
Mhm.
time, your life is not going to become less difficult. On the contrary, you're going to be disturbed more by what you see. And to me, that's not good. That's not bad. That just is.
Right. Right.
Now you could take this to, well, who's going to teach me all this stuff? Where am I going to get time and blah, blah, blah. Well, let's get into that conversation. I think there's some there's some low hanging fruit and I'm not going to use the word older hairdressers. I don't like that word.
Right.
For, people that are in the genre, the boomer Xer genre. And I think you've got a reason now to befriend a zennial. You've got a reason now to be curious about how zennials roll as hairdressers. You can, I have many zennial peers that they're much younger than my youngest kid, my youngest son, my youngest daughter. They're old enough, they're young enough to be their kids. So I get the, there are 3 or 4 genres, but I'm asking them to tutor me, not on my life. I'm not looking for you for life coaching.
Right.
I'm looking to you about, like, how are you making money with this? Like, how do you do it? And now, now we're kind of collaborating. We're allies.
I love that.
Rather than adversaries.
I think that's great. I think you could, and it could be fun. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to like watch them come together and see that bond, because I think, as a younger stylist coming in, you can learn so much from the older stylist and vice versa. And I think when that starts to happen, you have a really great synergy and the flow in the salon, and that atmosphere is like.
It's big time. But there's a fundamental pivot that we're making.
Yeah.
If we're in the genre that we're in, and that is, it's going to be the first time in many, many years when we have taken on the role of being a student.
Yeah.
And it's been so long.
Yeah.
And that can, depending on our attitude, we feel vulnerable.
Definitely.
Right. And that's why, people in the genres that we're on, being students again, is it's disturbing. It's unsettling. I'm out of my comfort zone. And I think the myth that a lot of us that are afraid of this is you get to a place where you go, whenever I'm doing something for the first time, I have to remember that I'm not supposed to know what I'm doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's been so long since I've allowed myself to be vulnerable enough to do some things I've never done before, and that I don't know what I'm doing at. But that's just, in our head. And if we can just take a deep breath, and you like, I do that every day now. So, my flaw is I take that for granted. That's not easy for people in my genre to do. And so I call it, here's what is in it for you. Beyond what you're going to learn, and you're kind of preparing yourself for the next 10, 15 years, you're going to have a much better ride. You end up getting younged down.
Yeah.
You feel younged down. Now, I don't know that I look young down. I don't have any interest in looking younged down. But mentally, emotionally, psychologically, I feel young down. I can hold my own, and look, forward to the opportunities of holding my own when I'm with people in your genre, your, front end of 30 something. So
Right.
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be. And I don't feel old fashioned.
Well, you're definitely not. I love it. So if you're talking to people, leaders in a salon, and they're trying to figure this all out, what's the first thing you would tell them to start doing?
Listen to this podcast, have conversations with other people that are either listening to this podcast or this conversation, and begin to set some real safe and simple intentions for yourself. Now, eventually intentions lead to action. But right now, I think the action, you can take the action of just setting an intention.
Right.
One intention you could set is, I really want to begin changing my attitude and disposition towards the zennial genre. I'm going to I think I'm going to open my mind up a little bit more about what is that, not be so held to the story, I had to do this, so do you.
Right.
And I'm not asking to lay this down like today, but set an intention of, I really see the good in that, and I really want to have that as a blip on my radar. I want to remember that. I want to be aware of that. I can see now that really that's not a useful conversation for myself to have with a fellow, never mind somebody in a generation that's 2 or 3 generations below me. I'm going to start changing my attitude, or at least set the intention to. The other is, I'm going to set an intention that I want to, little by little, I really want to familiarize myself with this handheld computer.
Right.
And really see, if nothing else, how does this work in my business?
Right.
And where before I was shut down, I shut it. I don't want to know. I'm going to close the door. This is so not me. I got too much stuff to, blah, blah, whatever the story is. I want to start again, little by little. We don't need to, have this all figured out by, next Friday. But I think those would be, and I'm going to stay in this conversation. I'm going to stay. I'm going to start being a part of communities. Today, it's all about community of other people that are of my age grouping or genre that have set similar intentions, so we can be there to support each other. And so, because I don't want to get amnesia about this. I don't have the luxury of relapsing and staying the way I've always been, because I've got another 10, 15, 20 years of career life in me. And I don't see myself changing my career. I might want to, but I can't. I got kids. I got life. My life is too set now that, if you can't get out of your job, get into your career, and I don't have to change my field of livelihood to do that. I need to begin to change some things up with me.
That's good. So what if you're an owner of a salon and you obviously are still doing hair? That would be really cool to see the owner pair up with someone that's, really utilizing their social media, their Instagram. And that definitely will set an intention and set a precedent in the salon too.
Oh yeah. And any owner listening to this, they're not going to have to think hard, because I ask this question to owners every time. How many people do you have on your payroll? I got 10, 15, 20. Okay. Who are the handful that you would say are a little bit more digitally, they have more presence in the social media space than others? You know who they are. I mean, this is not rocket science. And I'm going to tell them that I've set some intentions for myself. I'm curious about it, and I'm calling on them. It'd be great I call it, can I geek out with you?
Yeah, I
this. I'm
know.
just
I love that.
there's just some questions I have, and you show up with that attitude. I call it a very humble attitude.
Definitely.
And I think you're going to be surprised,
Oh,
and
I'm
the
excited.
experience is going to be surprising. That wow, this this isn't as creepy as I thought. This is interesting. It's inspiring. It's given me something new to do. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that, at least that's been my experience
Hmm.
over the last several years, as I've kind of moved from the non-digital boomer into the Gen Z
Yeah.
connected, whatever you want to call that. And
Yeah.
it's been a good transition.
Yeah. Well, it's been really awesome to watch how well, you've changed my perspective on Instagrams and social just by watching you, because you really do see how powerful it is when someone does go to your page and explore and see all of the things that you create and do on a daily basis, and just talking with you about everything. So the virtual consultations, like just how
Right.
the whole experience of being on someone's page, everything that we've talked about up until this point all leads into this. And I love that. I just love the idea of starting that camaraderie in the salon, just getting together and being together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. What was coming? Yeah, it's you find out that, oh, virtual consultation. Basically, you're kind of DMing each other, and a lot of people don't know what DMing is until they actually see it, and they go, well, this is like texting on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes, it's exactly what you're
Yeah.
texting each other, but
Yeah.
you're not doing it on your AT&T account or whatever,
Right.
Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You can do that now. They've got their own system, and it's identical.
Right.
That
It is.
there isn't any features that you're doing when you're texting that you're not
Mhm.
doing on. And DM, by the way, stands for your direct messaging.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
so so there's a language you learn, but it's a little by little, and you have fun with it, and I think you're going to be surprised. I think it's going to change the younger generation. Their attitude of you will change.
Right. Oh,
They
yeah.
will see
Oh,
some changing
yeah.
in you. And so now this conversation, there's we've now spent 2 months together, in the last, what is it, 40 minutes, and there's a lot more to say about, okay, where do we go from here? But
Right.
I think this 40-minute or so conversation, is one heck of a start. It's a
Absolutely.
ginormous step. I won't even call it the right direction, a direction that seems to have some vision in it.
Okay, guys, what did you think of that? I mean, so good, so good, so much amazing information. I really want you to reflect on this. I want you to think about, how can I start shifting? And just little by little, it doesn't have to be this major thing, but just take it in bite-sized pieces and give yourself some grace. This isn't an easy thing. So definitely on all ends, everyone has to shift and adapt a little bit, right? So we can all see different perspectives and everyone's point of view. And I think that's so valuable and so important to remember. 2015 was a huge year for me. My career was over as I knew it, and my life was flipped upside down. Postpartum depression for me literally just completely knocked me to the ground. I didn't see it coming, and I just wasn't prepared. So my career behind the chair came to an end. But I did look in the mirror. I definitely did a lot of self-discovery, and I pivoted, and now I'm on this journey of recruiting and giving you the tools to recognize when you have a block in your career. This is what I do to get through it, because I don't want to see anybody walk away. This is the best industry ever. So that is my mission, to help you become the best you possibly can be. Even when you recognize you have a block, there's tools and ways to get through it. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dream and your passion. You started this business because you had this passion and desire to help other people. Well, now help yourself. And we all have the tools to do it. So we're going to do this together.